Chapter 30: Consciousness and Conscious Breathing. Health, happiness, and well-being, and life extension through breathing and manifestation of consciousness, step into being, to be beyond time and space, requires in-depth understanding of consciousness, awareness, and conscious breathing, since we all are the part of all-prevailing, omnipresent, omniscient existence and infinite consciousness, which is present everywhere, even in each smallest possible being. However, it cannot be easily perceived, since light cannot be perceived in overall spread light. Light itself is merged in the light around us. Light in light cannot be distinguished, and nor sun rays can be differentiated from sunlight. They are the same and are not different from the sunshine. So, our consciousness is a part and parcel of universal consciousness. We all are a part of universal being. This is not possible to perceive by a human being unless and until he gets totally merged and becomes part of universal consciousness consciously, as well as becomes one of the being. On the contrary, one needs to stretch the canopy of his consciousness to the infinite level to completely perceive overall universal consciousness, which is also not possible for a human being. It is all considered as philosophical complexity, and in general, it is not understood mentally and not even spiritually at the core depth of it. This is the dilemma of consciousness. However, one can understand conscious breathing. It can be practiced by self-efforts, and immense benefits can be acquired to enhance these subtle qualities. This universe is like a vast ocean. Billions of waves existing in an ocean are basically part of the ocean. It is well understood that ocean can exist without waves, but waves cannot exist without ocean. Waves are the part of the ocean, but ocean is not the waves alone. Similarly, we are the part of the universe. We exist in it. However, a universe can exist without us, but not we without it. As waves and oceans both are integrated, part of the ocean is in the waves, and waves are in the ocean. Ocean can sustain itself without waves, but not the vice versa. In the same way, all living beings sustained in this universe, but the universe can be without the living beings. Likewise, living being is a part of universal being, but universal being is not merely the living being. Universal being exists without living being, but not a living being can exist without the grace or light of the universal being. Waves are generated in the ocean by various disturbances in the ocean and can go above the normal levels of the ocean with the vigorous energy, and when the energy is exhausted, waves fall and come back to normal level and merge with the ocean. After mergence, there is no difference that can differentiate ocean water with that of the waves. This play of the waves is continued on the surface of the ocean. When the waves rise, it can be identified even from the distance, but when waves merge, they lose their identity. Waves have no identity in the ocean and without the ocean. The appearance of a wave and its disappearance and reappearance in the ocean is the ocean phenomena. Similarly, birth of a living being and his emergence in the universal being is the phenomena of universal being. In the limited time span, wave is born, becomes violent, shows its youth, tries to go higher and higher from the sea level, and finally loses its energy and instantaneously falls down and merges with the ocean and disappears in the ocean without having its identity. And thus the life cycle of both high and low tides are completed as if both are one, similar, and identical to each other as they appear a few moments before. These unending cycle goes on in the ocean, similar to the birth and death of a living being on this earth and in this universe. From this, it is worth perceiving that our existence on this planet is just temporary and nothing is permanent. The basic question that arises, why to cultivate much possession during this short existence and spend complete lifespan and energy on such cultivations and possessions? It is very evident from this inference that one needs to have deeper philosophical insight to see the life very closely, to know its temporary existence, and to do some valuable cultivations and contributions to get more wisdom of this omnipresent nature and consciousness in a short span of a human life. Step into being and to be beyond time and space. It should be all more clear that one has to merge back from where he originated, that is, in universal, which is beyond time and space. Furthermore, if the wave is light and energetic, then only it can go higher above the ocean surface and visualize the beauty of ocean. Similarly, a person who is less materialistic and lives merely by needs and requirements of proper survival can be more energetic, intrinsic, and spiritual, and can travel the vertical journey of life more comfortably with detachment. This can help him to merge in the beauty of the self and witness the beauty of universal being, and thus he can become the man of real wisdom and enlightenment and self-realization. Then he can easily transcend time and space with consciousness without the traces of ignorance. On the contrary, the vertical height gained in the spiritual science by the highly materialistic person will be very limited. He will be mostly wandering in his possessions and material collections. He will be in outermost periphery of the divinity, far away from the real wisdom of life, and to be beyond time and space will be nightmare for him. In a nutshell, from the above analysis, scientifically it can be correlated that whatsoever is transpiring macroscopically in the ocean, the same is happening microscopically to the tiny waves and each drop of ocean water. The nature of the wave, its quality, its energy level, its turmoil or quietness indicates the real intrinsic happening at the bottom of the ocean. Turmoil on the surface of the ocean is clear picture of disturbances due to various unknown reasons in the heart of the ocean. Similarly, if a person is aware of his true nature and mental turmoil from time to time in his manifested consciousness and all the positive and negative conflicts within himself, then he will not be far away macroscopically of all the disturbances in his surroundings, non-friendly and friendly thoughts of persons he is dealing with. Furthermore, he will easily perceive positive and negative attitudes of his near and dear persons around him, and also it will not be difficult for him to know universal and natural happening macroscopically by self-awareness or consciousness and self-realization. Finally, it will depend on how much he has evolved himself in the art of self-awareness and self-consciousness. Breath is the medium of communication between the inner and outer world, since the air we breathe go in our system is from the external atmosphere. So, if we are deeply conscious of breathing, we can be conscious of both inner and outer happenings. Moreover, after knowing and getting aware of and being conscious of, what must one should do is to take action, modulate himself, will depend on his capability and ability to glimpse into beyond time and space, from where he will get the complete knowledge intuitively. Sometimes, knowingly or unknowingly, good and bad can happen, and these discontinuities might surprise him and put him on the platform that makes him to realize that there is much less in his control being a human being. Finally, this will make him to perceive that everything is in the purview and control of universal being. This will be his self-experience by the art of developed consciousness or awareness as a result of self-realization. This makes him to experience power and omnipresence nature of universal being, which is beyond time and space, besides fully knowing that he is finite creature in universe and nothing more. In short, if a person is aware of his inner happenings, his own true nature, and all that is going on in himself, in his consciousness, he will not be far away from the universal happenings macroscopically. This is because of the fact that universal mind and mind of a person belongs to the same universal consciousness or origin. The difference is that human mind is unaware of, it is sleepy, unconscious, such that it has lost its potential and higher capabilities microscopically, but the universal consciousness is fully awakened and all around. In fact, any turmoil of universe, including that in his daily life, reflects and creates high-frequency, low-energy levels throbbing in the conscious human mind, which an ordinary, undeveloped mind is not aware of. So, by knowing himself, by self-awareness, by self-consciousness, by self-realization, and by self-enlightenment, and to be beyond time and space, taking step into being, one can be much better aware of this infinite universe. However, he cannot be master of the universe since human mind, human consciousness is finite and has finite capabilities. Hence, he cannot be aware of the universal phenomenon in totality. But if within his finite limits he can modulate, influence, and put efforts to change by very close awareness and being conscious of the self, and by manifesting his consciousness to be beyond time and space, his capabilities shall be enhanced. Finally, glimpses of to be beyond time and space shall be immersed in him in timeless zone, which is the era of universal being. He becomes part of the being as there remains no difference between he and he as between ocean and drop. Similarly, he will be equipped with same potential and characteristics as that of universal being. Thus, by manifestation of his consciousness, he can enhance his well-being. Conscious breathing acts as a reliable tool to achieve this state. Without having conscious command on breathing, he cannot transcend time and space. He is unable to enhance health, happiness, and well-being. In general, a common man spends most of his time in unconscious ignorant state. Basically, he is in the inertia tamasic state. Rajasic person is always active. He is generally conscious and is in awakening state, but he is in maya or illusion like a tamasic person. However, divine or sattvic person is look-alike, as if he is in unconscious state like that of tamasic person, but divine person is always in manifested conscious state after transcendence of conscious state to consciousless state. His consciousless state is divine. He rolls between divine unconscious and manifested conscious state. Divine person can maintain this state by conscious breathing. Breath is a master. However, core consciousness is light or soul. Consciousness has subtle control on the breath, and breath is life.